Gratitude and Anthology is out.
With over 50 different perspectives and stories on gratitude, this book captures what most books don't. The secret sauce is in the number of voices and stories where you'll be sure to find a personal connection to so many as I did. A really excellent book, David Freeman. Found exclusively on Amazon.com.
Welcome. I'm Chris Palmore, and we were doing a framing this way before, and that's why this backdrop is not fitting. Good times. Anyways, I've got this is a special birthday gratitude episode with my my old friend David Sims, and I'm going to bring him in so we can square all this up. That's the way it's supposed to look, right, Dave?
Hey guys, how you doing? This is what we this on.
Welcome. Yeah, we spent all this time trying to frame everything up, and then I go widescreen, and there we go.
Sometimes it takes us both being here for it to be right.
Yeah, it's just the way it's supposed to be. I'm going in completely lighthearted now, so I've taken the seriousness of the production right out of it. Well, what Dave and I were talking before, and one of the ways I like to open up these birthday gratitude episodes are I like to rehash the grateful elements, the backstory of the story that introduces two people to each other. Because if my part of my philosophy is if you're sitting in a place of gratitude, which me and I am right now because I enjoy time with Dave. This is very cool. We're doing this. This is special. There's always grateful elements that have led to that moment. Just like, for example, if you're sitting there having a cup of coffee and you're enjoying yourself, there's a lot of grateful elements that are allowing that moment to happen. Any moment of your life, most likely, actually all moments of life have that. If you're being conscious, they all have that. But the cool thing is with people and conversations is we get to share, okay, a few of the elements. How did I meet Dave, right? So if we flip with my situation, briefly, I could go back a little bit with mine. My mom loved me, and I decided to write a letter of gratitude to her on my birthday. And, she received that. And then, unfortunately, her cancer came back and she passed away. And that was part of what started my gratitude journey, which led me eventually to start a website, talking to people about collecting letters from people on their birthdays, going to New York the first time and doing as anniversary just to celebrate my mom's passing. And that first time, it's not when I met Dave, but the first time is when I had the breakthrough of actually collecting videos. That was the moment of truth where I realized that all I wanted to do is create a moment. I didn't care how I did it. What's the easiest way to get somebody in a moment to express what they're grateful for? And honestly, the easiest way to do it and collect it is with your phone, just asking real simply, what are 3 things you're grateful for? So easy, right? This simplistic road, right? Not the difficult road. It's a lot of work when you ask somebody to write a letter. Even though it's much more fulfilling, it's a lot of work. But moving forward, I had to do all that, come back around doing Gratitude New York back in 2016, going back to New York, having a team with me or a team of people with me and meeting people. And it's at that point when I go back into New York, I'm staying in Brooklyn, and I decided before that trip that I was going to officially shave my head because my hair was thinning. My father is bald. It would have been fun right now if I go, look, this is what my father looks like. You know what's going to happen. And I don't know if it was the second day or the third day. Probably the second day. I got up early. I ended up finding a random barber shop that's close within walking in Brooklyn. That's what that was. I was literally walking from the guy's place I was staying. And then, and there you go. There's, I'm about to go in, and there's a guy out there with the camera, and it's Dave. He's sitting there with the camera, and I don't know if we were both having a cigarette or what. I don't even know. We just had a conversation, and that's me. That's us. Those are the little steps, little little things that impossible. You can't make these, you can't make those choices happen. Scenarios. Even back to, again, like I met the guy that I stayed with because he was with the Sister of Perpetual Indulgence. I met him through a friend, then, that set me up so I could stay with him. And then again, he happens to be living in Brooklyn, which has happened to walk close enough to run into Dave. So that's my little microcosm of the I like to call it magic. You could say it's all logical, but the magic of the moment.
Yeah.
And then there's more, but here we are. But that's the magic of the moment, to me just running into Dave, which real quick, and then I'm going to flip it to you. What if I did, here we are, right? And it's exciting. But bottom line is, if I wasn't being present, we weren't being present, we never would have seen each other.
We probably would have saw each other, gave each other a head nod and acknowledgement, but it would have been a passing, and that would have been it.
Yeah, no memory, though. There would be no memory of it. It wouldn't live in our heads.
We wouldn't even that day. I don't even think you remember that day so vivid.
No, I don't think I would have either. So
Probably,
flip it to you, man.
Probably wouldn't even remember the haircut either. But on the flip side, to flip it, that day was kind of memorable for me too. I was working in film, movies, commercials, TV show business, as well as working on a commercial at the time with a whole crew that I've never worked with anybody before. So I didn't know anybody that day. So everybody was like, great to meet you, great to meet you. And I was a production assistant. Wasn't even supposed to have a camera that day. Wasn't hired to use my camera. I had just acquired the camera, and I always had the love for photography. So I said, let me take my camera to work with me and just document the day. Just one of the days that I just took the camera and had it with me all day. And I don't even do that a lot. So to this day, I probably maybe have done that 2 more times after that. But it's never been that epic, ever. So I'm at work, not really happy about the rate that I'm making, kind of low. But one thing about film, it always taught me that you go to work one day and it opens you up for the next few days. You'll always find more work by going to work. And to me, work was always money. But work is not always money. Like, work could be passion. Work could be, helping you grow in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be financial, monetary benefit. So when we met, it was just like, there's this guy getting up. Oh, it's exactly how we met. You were in the barber chair, and if I'm not mistaken, you were sitting in the barber chair, and I took a picture of you, and I said, hey, I don't know you, but I was standing outside, and I took this great picture. I just think it looks amazing of you, or something along the lines of
that. You have a better memory. It's starting to come back. Okay.
Barber chair, and maybe it was before the haircut or after. I'm not sure. Maybe we were smoking a cigarette and you said, hey, I'm about to get a haircut. And I said, hey, maybe I can catch you in the chair, because I just remember the picture of you in the chair and like me catching that. And we still didn't know where our relationship was going to go from that. We thought it was going to be on a photography aspect. And I had no idea even the type of photographer that I was going to be or trying to push to be then. But, just to put hindsight in things, I had the camera then, still have it now. Man, that night, that day was just crazy. That 24 to 32 hours, it was just nuts, because I was at work. Chris was pushing his gratitude, his gratitude business. That's what I called it. It was the beginning of Gratitude Space. It was the opening of him collecting all his thoughts and having interactions with people. But his thing was he needed to document it and collect. So that was what we were gonna try to attempt to do. So we had a business venture in Atlantic City the same day that we met. Chris needed a driver to get to Atlantic City, and I'm here with my camera, not driving.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, Chris, I'm a really good driver. I'm the kind of person, I like to do stuff spontaneously. I don't have anything to do after today. You want to go to Atlantic City? I'll meet you at 5 o'clock. Let's go. Now, part of me is like, a lot of people in New York City bullshit. So match the energy. So I'm like, let me put out the positive energy. If it's positive, it'll come back and it'll be receptive. You know what I mean? We could reciprocate. But if somebody's energy is off, by me saying, "Oh yeah, let's go," you can see from that initial statement whether they're genuine about it or not. You know? And at the minute I said, "Yeah, Chris, I'm ready," and his energy matched my energy, I knew from like 2:45 p.m. or whatever time it was in the day, because I think it was like maybe 11 or 12 in the day. From that moment on, I knew that Chris and I are going to Atlantic City tonight.
Well, you know what's crazy? Even back, it's so much fun to reminisce about these this time, and who knows, maybe some of these stories we're talking will be in my next book, the book after next, not the one that's coming out next month, because the book I'm finally, anyways, you appreciate this, the idea for the next book, not the book, the Mechanics of Gratitude is coming out in December, and that's a big deal to me because it's actually teaching a philosophy of the hierarchy of a gratitude practice, but I'm really ready to do, The Gratitude Junkie by Chris Palmore. And that's the bio, not a long bio, but that's the bio book, which
For you.
Which New York, that New York, and then my 6 months of travel afterwards is a huge part of the crazy stuff in that.
Of Gratitude Junkie is perfect. Because Junkie kind of puts off a negative standpoint, kind of like, because you have to be on something. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Oh, guy, he's off of Adderall. He's off of this. He's influenced by something to make him do this. You know what I mean? Like, so your drug, your influence, your power has been gratitude the whole way through. It's never changed. It's never been influenced by anything else other than gratitude.
Right. It's literally it's my discussing gratitude and creating the moments and just being a part of the magic of it is it just fulfills me in a way that nothing else does. And I could talk about it all day long. You know that. And I could 5 years ago too. And that's before I interviewed 100 and something people. And I've spent thousands of more hours reading and writing, but getting back to what I was saying, the only reason I wanted to go to Atlantic City is because I believe it was either the night before. I see it's funny. I think of timelines here. It had to either be the night before or the night before that. So I must have gotten in town a couple days before. See, these are where these days are flowing. But I was in Harlem. No, I was in Harlem originally, I think is what it was. And I just decided to go to the was it the Chili's or the Apple? I think it was the Applebee's in Harlem, right? I just go in the Applebee's in Harlem. I think it's because I saw $5 margaritas. I walk in, and it was very, this trip, the New York thing was it was planned, but then it wasn't. Like I left where am I staying opens a lot of the time. And like when I got into New York, dude, I didn't have a place to stay the first day. I was dragging my stuff around, my big duffel bag, going to the first event until it was over and going, where am I going to stay?
I remember the hotel, and you were like, I don't know where the hotel is. I've never been here before. And I was like, wait, you're not.
So I'm in Harlem, and I walk in, and because of the way I was just to fly, they do whatever, I walked in, and the server's like, do you want to sit at a table or do you want to go to the bar? And I said, how about you make the choice for me? Because the cool thing about that is when you do that anywhere, especially when you're not on a schedule, you've literally put it in the hands of fate or whatever you want to, you know what I mean? You've taken your choice and allowed an external source, a person who has nothing to do with any of it. It's just a fun little, again, you got to think we never would have went to Atlantic City if I hadn't said all these little elements again, right? That play into these stories, which make life very interesting. So I go to the bar and then I'm just sitting. There's a chair and I'm sitting next to this guy, nice guy. We start chatting. He's an entertainment lawyer. We talk about gratitude. He tells me he's got a very colorful past with people's names, celebrities, this and that. And then he mentioned this this guy shows up and he's a rapper and he's like, yes, this is so-and-so. This is my guy. He's like, he's had these hits. He's like, he's going to be in Atlantic City tomorrow night. He's like, and then he connected me with him. And that was the reason he was DJing in Atlantic City. And I was all about, I got to get an interview with this guy. Right. And I was like, at the same time, I was like, it's like, if I can go, there's an experience there, and then and then it was like, I met you and I don't know how that came up, but I was like, it was an idea.
You just literally needed to get there. And it was like, listen, I'm that guy. I've never been in Atlantic City before. I'm young. I want to experience new things. Let's go.
Yeah, and I was like, you're like, okay, we'll just rent a car, and I was like, it's like, okay, let's do it. It was a little expensive. I think it was like $100 a day for the car, but we, it's like, here we're doing experience, and off we were.
I think
What'd you say it again?
it was a 24-hour rental.
It was a 24-hour rental, yes, and we got it back early because we did an evening, and then we got it back before noon. I feel like.
Yeah, we had to get it back. It was the point of listen. I met Chris working. Just to fast forward just a little bit, I met Chris working in the middle of the day, probably like 10, 11. I get off of work, go home, change clothes. We go to Atlantic City, have the whole night in Atlantic City.
Which is its own story for another time.
Another story. Get back. We leave Atlantic City in the morning. I had to be to work by 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. So I had to speed uncontrollably from Atlantic City back to New York, drop off the car. No, I had to pick up the rental vehicle that I was going to use to shuttle passengers for work for a crew in Connecticut. Drop Chris off, swap vehicles. No, first swap vehicles, drop Chris off, drop off his vehicle, then drop Chris off, then change clothes in the middle of the street, then arrive 20 minutes late and say, oh, it was traffic, guys. Like,
it's
like,
New York City.
Whole crew of 16 people drive up to Connecticut and do a whole another 8-hour job day and then come back home. It was like 48 hours after meeting Chris Palmore. But it's definitely changed my life. It was worth it. If I look back on it, I just gotta say, I just thank myself. I'm grateful that my mind was open.
Likewise, man. That's the that's the biggest. I mean, gratitude is completely found in the now. Like I keep saying it. Even my new book, I'm actually the dedication is to the moment. Because everything happens in the moment, and as long as we're present for it, we get to have those memories, we get to have those experiences, and that's where your gratitude comes back in. You got to be present to have the memory, because it's all in the remembering. And that's why, like, when we, for example, with us, like meeting, and then what we did, dude, memories, like imprinted memories.
Literally, and think about something like this. Like, as far as what people do now to capture memories, what do? They pull their phone out and take a picture, right? Or take a video. Let's say you're at a concert, and artists do feel like this. You're at a concert. Most of the people that are at the concert are recording on their phone, right? So because you're recording on your phone or taking a picture of it, you're not mentally going to imprint that in your brain as deep as if you didn't have your phone around.
Right, because you've gone into action mode. Now you're like, this is my job, not to view what's going on, but to look at this, because you're looking at a screen and you're trying to. But what happens now? It's like we're in a project mode. I'm in framing mode. Oh, what does this look like? Opposed to, I'm just enjoying this, right? Like, this is very different from this.
Yeah,
very different.
Sometimes enjoy things for what they are and not, try to record the moment or capture the moment. Just enjoy the moment and be in it for what it is, Oh,
I know, man. I try to remind myself that all the time. And but that's like, it's again, like when we go into task mode, it's the same thing. You've taken yourself, depending on what you're doing, you're taking yourself a step away from being in that moment. It's like, there's different when we're working, that's different, right? You have a task, right? But when you're just present, it's a different thing altogether. And if you're having a conversation with somebody, if you're there with them, you can, it's different too, opposed to if the conversation's about, look at my camera and what do you think about the framing? And, anyways, I know this is great. This is, I'm loving how this conversation is going.
I do remember also that we bonded off of the strength and the love of our parents, of our moms.
Yes, we did.
Another thing that kind of like, we both were like, yeah, let's go to Atlantic City. Like, yeah, this just feels right.
It was so great because I feel like I had a co-pilot. I was like, here's my co-pilot. I was like, it's just a crazy idea that I had in my head. But I met this guy, Dave. We connected, and he's game. How about that? I was like, that. I wouldn't have gone. I would not have gone. I wouldn't have gone on a train. I would not have taken the bus. It was like I had this idea in my head. I met you, and because we discussed it and you were game, I was like, okay, this is an adventure I'm going to take because I have a partner now.
That, and like I knew that I was familiar with the area. I knew that you weren't from here, and I knew that I had you. You know what I mean? Like if anything happens, Chris, no, I got him. You know what I mean? Like we're here together. He's not here alone. I'm not here alone, and we split up that night, and we
totally did for like probably 6 to 8 hours.
8 hours, and I was just like, no way. I pull up. I don't even know if we contacted each other through the phone. All I know is that like I get back to the hotel in the morning and I just find Chris. He gets in the car and we leave. I just don't remember how it happened.
I think we left each other voicemails or something, and then eventually I don't know if you turned back on or I turned back on, but they came back on. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah, that was. But I mean, that was obviously epic. To me, that's epic, unforgettable. And then we had. I do want to pivot to talk about your birthday, but we had more adventures in New York together, and especially. The Gratitude Day in New York with the concert and the Samuel J at the Muse in Brooklyn. That was, and you were there with your camera again, capturing all that.
With that was with Laura LeBron, right?
Laura, and then Samuel J was the musician that flew in from originally when I saw him on Instagram and contacted him. He was in Europe, and then because I mean. It's so much fun reminiscing about this because I don't know if you know.
It's the people at the space, at the location. Yeah, that was a lot. I actually brought you an artist that day too, and it became a nice collab of artists. Like I think the guy Sam was playing, Laura was singing or dancing, and then my guy was rapping or something like that. Like, and it was just like,
oh yeah, it was in between the sets or whatever. That's when that live platform went on. So I had my camera being passed around. So yep. it was being, this is pre all the live stuff, all the great formats that exist now. Yeah, you did bring a friend. I completely forgot about that.
I think I still have some footage of that too. That's crazy.
I have the stuff you gave me still on my computer.
Nice.
So I have all the stuff that you recorded, even I believe our conversation from the car that we drove in.
And we recorded that, right?
You put it up on the dash for a while or something, and you collected us just chit-chatting. Like, there's so much. We were together, dude. Like, the documentation was great.
Because I don't even think I'm as on point now anymore. Like, a lot of that footage, I don't even know if I could find it if I wanted to.
Well, I have all the stuff that you gave me, which I should look again because I should have the photos of even you cutting my hair.
Definitely.
But no, this is the crazy thing about Samuel J was, I think I was in New York already before I booked him to fly to New York to do that.
Wow.
Because I didn't have the venue or the artist or any of that when I arrived in New York.
Fly there, like that's nuts.
Yes, it was off. Yeah, it did not make any sense, and that's what
I do remember. Right, it was still in the beginning. And let's say you try to do the same thing you did then. Now, that the turnout would be different. The turnout would actually be some kind of a real turnout because we were bummed out that day.
Well, it's interesting. I've reflected on that a lot.
To the positive.
Well, yeah, no. What was amazing actually in that moment, and this is because of my Bobby Coots, one of my greatest friends and mentors. I talked to him. It was either that day or the day before, and he left me this little nugget, which implanted in my head, and that's why I'm sharing with you. Right? He said, "What you need to do is you can have ideas, but you need to have this thought in your head. It's like you need to have it's either this or something better." And I'm telling you straight up. I was very disappointed originally, but when the time Samuel got up there, that was after Laura, and we were sitting there, and I'm being completely sincere, and you were there, so maybe you could. And I looked around, I walked up to him, and I had that mentality because what I realized, Dave, was I had set up something that should have been really big. I had all the players in place for something really big, right?
Big.
Which is a great idea, but get this. In that moment, I realized this is a very unique situation because there aren't a lot of people here. This is the most intimate concert I'm ever going to experience at this level because of all the preparation for it.
Yeah, it was.
And
I'm not gonna lie. It was because it was just us. Like you said, it was intimate. It was such an epic night. I haven't had a night that felt that great as far as artistry, me doing the photography and stuff, and being and like having a personal connection with the people that's there. As far as I grew up with the guy that I brought, he's an artist. I never worked with him. We've just been friends. It's the first time I had him come out with me to any kind of event. And that probably helped him in some way, like mesh with other people, mesh with you. And like everybody got something from that, even though okay, let me try to reword this. In the normal mind state of a New Yorker, that night would have been a drag. That night would have been a blow. Nobody came out. Like as far as a promoter, they would have been bad. They would have been upset because of the no turnout. But us, our mindsets are so in a different light to be able to absorb all the positivity around us because there's so much negativity that we grow up in that like we accept all the positivity that we see, all the little wins. You know what I mean? Celebrate all the little wins.
right. And again, like, and even when Sam was up there, and I remember I had that mind flip in my head that, oh, I did this or something better. And I realized how intimate it was. I walked up to him and I said, I said to him, I was like, this is the best money I ever spent, man. And I meant it when I said it. I totally meant it.
The night it wasn't a drag, and it ended up turning out to be something that you could actually still have used.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have the footage. We'll see. I mean, Samuel's. I mean, he was just amazing, dude. He's absolutely. I don't know. I mean, to have that type of talent guy come into town and play for 15 people in a room that holds 1,000. I mean,
yeah. Like we were both putting ourselves here where we are now. Then
right,
it makes sense. Like
right.
we saw ourselves getting to somewhere where we didn't know what it was going to look like, what it was going to sound like, what it was going to be, how to even manipulate it if we could. But we knew that we wanted to be there, so we just had to get things going, and everything's trial and error.
Oh, everything is, yeah.
So you know now that like an event that you had recently that had a large turnout was when you did the gratitude interviews with the families.
The families.
And you were interviewing kids on a field, the school.
Oh, yeah, that was the gratitude pop-ups I did last year. With my dad, yeah.
That with your dad, awesome, by the way.
It was really awesome, yeah.
But yeah, just like that, like you had, you were able to put yourself in a situation and get things started just like that, and actually have a turnout and actually have, positive product and positive feedback, and it wasn't, like you were in the same space back then.
Right. Well, I mean, I've got all these great ideas, and it's all about waiting for the right time to, the right metrics to make it all work. But I can show anybody this works. This is good. I mean, those gratitude pop-ups, there's like, people are ready to share what they're grateful for. They just have to be comfortable about doing it. They want to do it. It's a good experience. It makes the person feels good. It makes me feel good. It makes anybody feel good watching it. If it's a guy talking about going to China and adopting a son, and then getting the interview from the son going, I understand I had a cleft palate. I would have been put on the streets if they wouldn't have come and got me. I mean,
kind of when I was talking about it just now, that whole interview was playing in my head, and like how much that just touched me and how much it could touch other people. Like,
right. And it's just, people have these stories.
And what this shows also a lot is the kid that was speaking, right? It shows bravery on everyone who's speaking, even people who might have instances where they don't like to speak to other people. They don't like to talk to other people. They don't like, interaction with other people, period. And it gives them a voice, like somebody who feels like, oh, I would have never expressed how I feel about a certain thing. And then you go ask them about it, and they have an outlet, and they're able to get something off of their chest, help other people. And it kind of like both hands wash each other. Like, you're getting help by expressing yourself because way that we grow is by letting things out and not keeping them in. And I've learned that the best way to get past anything is expressing it, talking. It's just the best. And so many people don't know that. They just keep it all in and bottled in inside. And the best way to get through things is vocalizing your feelings. So for you to be able to give people a platform that would have had their voices inside, and you're allowing people to open up and branch out and open their minds. That's why I feel like this can touch all walks of life, all social status, classes. Like, this gratitude is classless. You know what I mean? Like, you could be rich, poor, the president, not the president, a cop, an inmate. Like, everybody has something to be grateful for. And depending on their situations and circumstances, you'll see different things.
Right. And they're all beneficial and they all matter.
I was just thinking of like from the cop, what he's grateful for is coming home safe every day from a tour. But then when you go to an inmate, what is the inmate grateful for? Inmate's probably grateful just to be able to have his snacks that day. You know what I mean? Like, it's always going to change the perspective, but it's still gratitude every way. And guess what? It's free.
Right. Yeah, it costs nothing, and it's happening all the time. Yeah, it just dude, that was a great line. Gratitude is it's a classless society. We are a classless society of grateful people.
Yeah,
that's a good statement. I like that. Classless. Any
racism, there shouldn't be any sexism, there shouldn't be any, nothing.
We're just grateful people.
Bias. It should be just what is it, like amoebas? Like amoebas. It should be like an amoeba life form. It's asexual. No male, no female. Everybody's just same level.
Right. Well, I mean, I feel like, I mean, honestly, you sit down with somebody, just like you and I meeting, we start talking about what you're grateful for. It's like, it's a personal conversation. You feel closer with people. You sit, and again, it's like, we are connected because we share that we shared gratitude together, and then we shared experiences that we're grateful for. Now we're sharing more of them. Now we're having conversations about it. Right. Like,
and then now we're trying to use what we had to touch other people.
Right. That's that's the power of the highest form of gratitude is catalyzing gratitude. That's in the book. And that's where you intentionally go out and you help create the space for that to exist, for the air for people to breathe that in and come to their moments. And that's, when we, it's very, us having this conversation, guys, we're doing for each other. That's the great thing is it really is a symbiotic thing. When I create it for you, you create it for me. We have this shared experience that we can't have by ourselves. That's the thing about counseling gratitude. You can't do it alone. You have to be interacting with somebody.
You have to. Like, yourself, what are you going to tell yourself? Oh my God, I'm so grateful for this. Like, you're just talking to yourself, so it doesn't register.
It's a totally different experience.
Yeah, you're not even going to think as deep because it's just you.
Right. And you're creating more memories, back to the memory, like you're creating memory with somebody else that literally solely exists because you're connecting with them.
Exactly. We've been connected and we've been disconnected so we got connected. We've been disconnected for a long time, but our connection is still just as strong as the day we met.
That's true, man. I totally feel it, man. And I was so excited that we talked these last couple of weeks. And speaking as talking these last couple of weeks, I want to pivot. We chatted a little about what I was doing, with the Voice Gratitude Project. And then you actually came on the first Clubhouse meetup we did. And I want to share with everybody here real quick that something you shared, which, I shared this with a few other people and they were really moved by it. So this is Dave.
Listening to it.
Yeah. So this is Dave.
I would say that I'm grateful for every struggle that I've been through in my life because it kind of shapes me into the person that I am now. And I could say beforehand, I didn't have that mindset. I was always struggling with, why are things happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And then I had to take an understanding of these things are happening to you so you can get to where you need to be, so you can actually be the strong you that you have the potential to be. So I actually live that every day. And instead of it being a quote, it's more of something that is real life. So I'm grateful for everything and every experience and everyone that I meet.
I'm blown away every time I see it. It's like everything about the video from the moment that it opens up, every visual that you used is me, the sky, the city, like the sounds of the cars in the background, like, and then me speaking and what I'm actually saying, and I meant every word of it. Like, it just feels surreal.
Well, hey man, it was so beautiful. I'm so glad you showed up. You know, that's the thing, right? We show up, and then that energy was there, and you felt like sharing, and you just voiced it, and you were just speaking from the heart, and there's the beauty. And fortunately, I could capture it, right, and play with it.
There's no script there. I had no idea what I was gonna say. In the past, I probably would have been nervous, but because I'm no longer a nervous person per se, it just allowed me to just think, just let it come out. Just like today, I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we're getting the content.
Right. Yeah, it's just a good conversation. But I mean, that's the magic of people just sharing their hearts, man. You know, when people just open up, and the beautiful thing about the Voice Gratitude Project is people sharing quotes is like an easy ask. It's like, what's the 3 things you're grateful for? If you're quoting someone else, but to me, the gold is when somebody goes, "This is why I like that quote." And if you showed up and just shared you just spoke, you didn't need a quote. You just showed up. You're like, "This is what I'm feeling." That raw emotion, that reality, your voice, those words that you believe is strong, brother. And it affects people when they hear it. I know this because I've shared it with people.
Wow. I really want to know what their reactions were. I'm getting like weird now. Like, oh my God, it feels so good.
Well, that's the magic of just sharing the voice and allowing people to do that. And
I was just gonna say, I've ever been in a platform where other people have heard my voice.
Oh, okay.
Period. Like I haven't even heard my voice. I was like, this is what I sound like.
Think about that, the experience of me hearing you there, creating the video, then you sharing it back, and now you're telling me like you're hearing your like, there's so many layers of like this experience that is life, right?
Definitely, it's layers on layers on layers, just like that Grand's biscuit.
But thanks for sharing that, man. And when this comes out, this video we're doing now is going to come out tomorrow. I'll also just share the video by itself, so it'll be sitting places for people to experience.
I would love for people to see that because it's coming out tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday. This is a birthday space right now. So like I just appreciate you for giving me this. I appreciate you for us meeting. I'm just grateful for every bad birthday I had. Because like literally this is awesome. Just a side note, haven't spoken to my son like that since June. I got to speak to him yesterday for a good 15 minutes. Genuine call, like the time between us has not passed. You know what I mean? So I started off, and I kept telling everybody, I don't want anything for my birthday. I don't want anything physical. I want like the connection with my son, and then I just want to just like feel love on my birthday. Like period. And this is the great start of it. Yesterday, I got to start it by talking to him. This right here, being able to share this with you and everybody else who's going to watch it and be affected by it. The fact that I can touch other people is an amazing birthday gift. Like, you know what I mean?
I do, man. I do. Thanks for sharing that about your son, man. That's awesome. I'm so glad you got to talk to him, and
me too.
I could tell the joy, it's beautiful, man. What a moment you just shared a huge gratitude moment with me.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's when obviously he's your son and there's that close relationship, but like on it, it's like when we have an opportunity period to like, just like talking with you right now, it's the same idea. It's like time literally is our biggest commodity. Like there's nothing, you cannot get any more time, right? Like they're not making any more of it. And at the same time, we don't know, fortunately, we don't know our clock, but we do know that it's not infinite. That's why that's the value, right? So it's like when we are together,
because eventually something is gonna end.
Right. It's the facts of life.
You go to a party, like you're gonna value that party because the party's not all day. The party's only a couple hours. So you got, and you know, the shorter it gets to the party ending is when you gotta like, okay, I gotta start enjoying myself a little bit more. You have to remind yourself to enjoy yourself. Like that's crazy. We shouldn't even have to do that.
We shouldn't, but it's like every moment is unique. You know, I had Hector Garcia on the podcast last year. He has this book called Itchy Go Itchy, and that's the phrase at the Japanese tea ceremonies they say to each other when they start, because it basically means that this moment is special and never happen again. It's just a reminder. It's true, because it doesn't matter if we're wearing the same clothes and we're a year from now looking the exact same. Even if we had the same conversation, if we can script it, it's not the same thing.
Nope. Nothing will be the same.
No. Even if mundane tasks are still unique.
Every second our body ages. So technically, like the minute before is gone. You know what I mean? Like I'm now a different person. Every second I'm a different person, you know, from the one I was a second ago.
Right.
Like 1 second older.
And that, you know, that's it's beautiful. It's set up like that because it allows us in the same sense to go, whatever this moment is in our lives. It's just a moment in our lives. Now, do we want to be present for the moment or not? Because the time's gonna pass either way. We could choose, you know, most of the time, and I'm not saying I'm not, you know, a deity or anything, but it's like most of the time we're thinking about the past, are contemplating what we did wrong, or we're thinking about the future. And the future is just a constructed idea because when we get to the future, it is the present. So it's like now is when you want to be. You want to be thinking about now because this is really all there is. Like,
so another analogy to put with that is I'm just going to use a Tesla as an example. Like, do you want to actually physically be driving? Now, just think about this. You're going on a road trip. You're driving, right? When you're a driver on a road trip, you can't experience everything about the road trip because you have to pay attention and drive. So do you actually want to drive on this road trip, or do you want to put it in autopilot so you can experience everything? You know what I mean? Like,
ooh, that sounds like a great promo you just thought of.
Listen,
no, think about it. It's Tesla and gratitude.
Wow.
It totally is. It totally is.
I was talking about and gratitude before, but like that right there kind of just puts it in perspective of life.
Well, think about it. It's like okay, technology has gotten to the place where we can travel from one place to another by ourselves if we want to, put it on autopilot, and actually, if we choose to experience the experience, opposed to having to be the driver.
Yeah, yeah. Because every time I'm driving, I'm like, oh my god. Somebody's like, look at those mountains over there. I can't. I don't want to die. like, yeah, the mountains look great for a second, but if I was a passenger, I'd be able to like look and oh my god, wow. You know what I mean? Like really enjoy it.
Right. That would be a great. How do you want to say? Well, you know, it's like again, time is time, but like memories are memories, right? So again, like I use the analogy all the time that if you're driving to work, taking the same route every day, it's one color. You don't even remember. You don't even remember because it's what we do every day. Yeah. But the cool thing about a driving car is that it's not the same thing every day because technically you at that point can focus on anything you want to. You could turn yourself around and be looking at the back the whole time. You know, I mean, you could do anything. You could choose to do anything other than drive.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, yes, theoretically. I'm just the idea. It's a big idea. So if you want to find the now and the moment and have more memories in your life, have a car drive you around.
Definitely. I mean, that's where Uber's going anyway, too. So, you know, like, you're going to be driverless Uber soon. Like, give it 7 years. Give me a driverless Uber somewhere.
Well, what, you know, your birthday's tomorrow. Do you already have some plans or what are you hoping, who are you hoping to see or?
I don't know. It's kind of open. I have to say this. I have to say this now. There's a special person that's doing their best to show me love, you know, and I wasn't receptive to it. Maybe in the past I wasn't okay receiving it. But now I'm in a better space to be able to reciprocate. So I'm putting my birthday in the hands of that person completely. So I have no. All right. I'm excited.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, my wife is so good at surprises and stuff, and like, you know, so. Anyways, yeah. So have again that you've let in the element of somebody else, so you get to whatever happens, you get to be surprised. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Like,
Just like you letting the server
server,
we're gonna sit.
right?
And that's a big step that it takes for you to even do that, to take away the control, because everybody wants to be in control of everything. And I don't want to be in so much control that I can't enjoy myself.
Right, and we both know that surprise you're gonna remember it more because you didn't know it was gonna happen. So the surprise element of anything allows you to actually more easily remember and be present because it's a surprise. It's a new city. You know, it's a new place. I don't know what's next. Well, you got to pay attention if you know what I mean. Like anticipation is massive, opposed to okay, we're gonna get up, go to my favorite restaurant, and then see a movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you knew you were going to do that, that's not exciting because you enjoy yourself, but
yeah,
because you know,
especially if it was a repetitive thing, like every Tuesday at 5 o'clock we go to the movie. Like, you know what I mean? At Tuesday at 4:45, I'm not gonna be excited after the third time.
right? So that's brilliant, man. So that's awesome, dude. Well, I'm excited you got somebody in your life that wants to reciprocate some love for you and it's gonna surprise you tomorrow and basically pamper you and has your best interest wanting Dave to remember and let's have a good time with Dave. So that's can't ask for more than that, man. You'd be way too greedy.
I got one more thing for you before we wrap this up, but I think it's a quote, not really a quote, but just a good saying that could just go, and I just said it, like surprise, gratitude. Like that's it.
There you go. No, yeah, I did a campaign called Gratitude Is, and the great thing about that is people can say anything they want to, but you could just say gratitude is surprise.
There it is.
It is.
Ooh. I can't wait to see that in words.
Right? Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, the flip side of that, because I've gotten to surprise people in my life, dude, it's such a gift to be able to surprise somebody, to be the person to surprise the other person. Literally, it's a gift to the person doing it.
Yeah,
it really is.
There's chemicals in your brain that get released by doing positive things. It's just people just don't know that.
Yeah,
you don't. It's like you can literally be high off of life and love and emotion, off of good things. It doesn't come from negativity though. So if you're surrounded by negativity, you won't be in an open-minded space to even be receptive. And that's what blows me, that the whole world isn't on this gratitude wave yet, because they're probably still closed. But we're here to open you up, guys. We're here for that.
Right. And Dave and I are going to be doing some more creative stuff together. So, look out. And, now that I'm back connected with Dave, who knows, maybe we'll do some microcosm of Gratitude New York in 2022, some microcosm of it. But the doorway's open. That's what matters.
Always open.
Well,
man, just like our friendship, it's open, man.
Right on, man. Right on. Yeah. So in closing here, do you have, it's been a year since your last birthday. Do you have any philosophy? I mean, we've been speaking philosophy and stuff, but is there any parting words or, birthday wish, if you could just, something you could just put out to the world? I mean, granted, you've been saying some great stuff, but if you have an end cap, you're welcome to. And if not, that's fine too.
Oh, that's all right. I could give you like 5 seconds to think about one. Yeah, I definitely got a couple things I could leave somebody with. If I could leave here and touch somebody somewhere that's been waiting for something like this, now that I have a platform to voice it, by all means, I feel like this is going to be awesome. So I just want to say thank you guys, everybody, for being here, for watching this. If you're going to watch it in the future, please share it. Chris Palmore is a great guy. Gratitude is going to be even greater once it gets received by everyone on this planet. Imagine how much better the world is going to be, right? Everybody in this world can understand what I'm about to say, because everybody in this world, from the moment they've been born, has experienced pain, right? So, kind of what I said in the beginning, but just a little more in depth. Pain is going to teach you some things in life. Pain is gonna hurt. pain is also going to bring you some positivity in some way, shape, or form. Like, people don't see it when they're going through the pain or anticipating the pain of whatever it is. But I can say that there's not no pain on this earth that something can't heal, but uh, it won't always get better if you don't do anything about it. Like, if you sit and wallow in it and don't try to pull yourself out, it won't get better, because something better will come to you and you won't see it. You'll just be so in your stuff that something better is gone and it's leaving. Oh, something better just left, but I was so close that I couldn't see it. So I would say, no matter what you're going through in your life, no matter how hard it gets, I know it sounds weird to not give up, and it may seem easier to give up. But look at it like this: nothing in life that's worth having comes easy. So the harder you work to put into something, that's the work that you're going to get out of it. So the harder you put in, the harder you're going to get out of it. And if you can just take positivity and rub that over everything, no matter how you feel. Like, I have really bad days sometimes. Wake up in the morning and I go to work and I see this smile on people's faces when I'm having a really bad day inside, and nobody knows how I'm feeling. And that right there lets me know that I have a strength that is getting stronger, and other people can build just because of me. I had someone ask me, you just lost your mom, you lost your dad and your little brother all within 8 months. It's been 2 years, almost a year. How do you do it? Like, you've accomplished so much since they left. How do you do it? I'm just like, I couldn't answer him. I had no idea, because I didn't even have the brain concept to think about that. Like, how am I here right now? And it's just living in the moment, being grateful for everything, even the negative things that happen to me. Don't let them overwhelm me, and overcome it. Like, I feel a lot stronger mentally, the fact that I can overcome every obstacle that came my way. Like, I just can't let something hold me and bring me down. There's always a way for me to climb out and work towards something better. So I'm just grateful for that. Not letting the negative keep me negative, and allowing me to change negative into positive. I think I can leave it on that.
So much good stuff, man. Thank you for that. That was really beautiful. Don't let the negative make you negative. And I think it goes back to that, don't let the world change who you are. If someone's victimized you, don't become the victim, because it is a choice.
And then it makes it
right. Right. Let's prove them wrong all day long. Yeah.
Day long.
Right. Gratitude is surprise.
I think we're going to go with that. It just fits. You got to put seconds in between, and it just fits. Like, I love that.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, this will be up tomorrow for your birthday. Don't disconnect after I do the outro here, because I want to chat with you one more minute. But I'm Chris with Dave, and if you guys see this out there, you can always just shoot Dave. Say, when you see it online, "Happy birthday, Dave! Have a good day." You can even ask him, "How was your day, Dave?" Because he doesn't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
I will respond.
Yeah. All right, well, everybody, just remind everybody they got a lot to be grateful for. The moment is now. Look around you. Find that gratitude. It's definitely somewhere near you. And we appreciate you spending this time with us. Bottom line is, Dave and I enjoyed ourselves. So the great thing is now I can paste this gratitude, digital gratitude on the wall, and let it do its work. So I'm Chris, and we are out.